Hello, and welcome back to my ongoing series unpatching the generative Polykrell. The Krellberg Variations has been the subject of months and months of work. This is our 44th and final video, and in this final wrap-up, I just wanted to give you a list of all the modules used, the cables used, the mults, everything that went into this 3-month patching journey. On my Bandcamp page, queertunes.bandcamp.com, I've already released What the Mountain Said Realization 1 and Realization 2, the first of the 4 movement Krellberg variations, and I'll describe them in a bit. But I'm also very excited to announce that I've been working with Modular 404 to release the most dynamic and most interesting of the works, and that is A Canon of Valor, and that will be released shortly on the Modular 404 label, and I will put a link up in the video to that, so I'm very, very excited about that. That album has a score that we haven't seen or won't see, and there are parts of that patch that are not described in the entire series of the Krellberg Variations, so there's some special secret sauce going on and some voices that I haven't shared throughout the whole patching. And it's been a pleasure to work with the folks from Modular 404, so I'm very much looking forward to that. I have already released the first 2 of the Krellberg Variations albums, entitled What the Mountain Said, in 2 realizations, Realization 1 and Realization 2. So just a quick description of why and how it came to be that there are 2 albums with the same title. So if you'd followed along throughout the video series, you will recall that I've used written scores to track the different voltages, different steps, and different modulations that I'm using throughout the form of the piece. I've got a master clock that drives all of those form sequences in parallel, and then by changing the rate of that unique master clock, I can stretch out the form to be as short as, say, 3 or 4 minutes, or as long as 20 or 30 minutes. I chose to do lengths of between about 6 and 10 minutes depending, and my plan was to execute that album in 4 movements. So there are in fact 4 different scores, and when you listen to the album, what you're listening to is each one of those scores as its own separate movement. So you're really only hearing the form for that movement performing once. Unlike a lot of generative patching, what you don't hear is you don't hear the form or the full generative patch loop around back to the front. So the totality of the score is designed in 4 pages, and each one of those pages is each one of the unique movements. When I recorded the album, it was my plan to record multiple takes and then choose from those multiple takes the best output from the generative patching. And what I've learned over the years in my experiments with generative patching, as we all know, for those of you that have tried it, sometimes the machines will sound brilliant, sometimes they sound terrible. And often what happens is as soon as you hit stop on your recording, lo and behold, it starts outputting gorgeous sounding music. So what I've done is I've recorded multiple takes and then chosen the best 4 of those takes for one of the albums. But I also decided to do enough takes that I could create a second completely different album of different audio material, but performances from the same score. So essentially what you're listening to is the same piece of music executed or realized in two different ways by the generative patch. If you're interested in hearing more about my compositional background, the way in which I work, and my philosophy of creating electronic music with modular synths, please check out my video interview with Rolf on Rolf Film Media. And that'll be dropping in just the next couple of weeks. There's a link here in the video to his amazing channel in which he interviews all sorts of fascinating artists. Well, thank you to all of my Patreons for your support in making this mammoth series on patching gigantic modular synth patches. I couldn't have done it without your help. Please feel free to reach out with any questions. If we're in the same area, I'm always available to do lessons and talks, or even just to hang out. Please consider joining my Patreon to help me create more videos and more weird, wonderful music. If you've made it this far, then you've made it through the entire 44 video series on the Krellberg Variations, and I hope that you've enjoyed it and gotten something out of it for your own patching. Please stay tuned to my channel for upcoming videos on weird and wacky modules and interesting ways to patch them. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.